Listen! Listen carefully. Europe was divided between Catholic and Protestant. But the house of Protestantism was divided within itself. Oliver Cromwell murdered his king. When his ambassadors arrived here, what did we shout at them?
Cromwell's bastard, king's murdered! Cromwell's bastard, king's murdered! Cromwell's bastard, king's murdered!
Yes! Under Cromwell's influence, our so-called leader, John de Witt, forced through the Act of Exclusion, which prevents the House of Orange from taking up their rightful place.
The throne!
Yes, but my friends, the will of God triumphed. The king was invited to return. He ordered Cromwell's body to be disinterred. The rotting head detached from the body and put on a pole. Let John de Witt and the friends of Cromwell here in Amsterdam beware.
John de Witt! John de Witt! We'll tear him apart bit by bit! John de Witt! John de Witt! We'll tear him apart bit by bit! John de Witt!
How is our good friend John Milton reacting to the restoration?
My informant reports that Milton is going crazy with his angels and devils. The restoration has shaken him by the wits.
He'll never rest easy till he puts his thoughts on paper. Milton will never remain silent. This English example furnishes us with a terrible warning. They sought to depose their monarch under the forms of law. But when he'd been deposed, they were utterly unable to change their forms of government. And after much bloodshed only brought it about that a new monarch, for such Cromwell was, should be hailed under a different name, as if it were merely a matter of names. King or Lord Protector. Then this new monarch could only consolidate his power by destroying the royal stock, putting to death the king's friends, real or supposed, and disturbing with war the peace that might have encouraged discontent. And it came to pass that the people reflected that they had achieved and accomplished nothing. And they decided to retrace their steps as soon as possible, and did not rest until they had achieved a complete restoration of the monarchy.
This was brought to you by a messenger. He is waiting for your reply. Should he wait?
Well, let me read it first. As I thought.
Most honorable, sir.
Schisms arise not so much from an ardent love of religion as from men's various dispositions, or the love of contradiction, through which they are wont to distort and to condemn all things, even those that have been correctly stated. I have already experienced these things while leading a private and solitary life. Thus, you see that I am not holding back in the hope of some better fortune, but from love of peace, which I believe I can obtain to a certain extent, merely by refraining from public lectures.
Yours. Entirely. Benedictus Spinosa. Why do I go on getting letters of such ignorance from men whose minds were once free? What has happened to you, Albert? What demon has possessed you? Albert Berg. You were once so close to me. Oh, perhaps too close.
I can see you now, standing outside the Vatican. You who once had such pleasing features, so prim now and pompous, suffused with the Holy Spirit and preaching to me.
I have written this letter to you with intentions truly Christian, to show the love I bear to you even though you are a heathen. God is willing to snatch your soul from eternal damnation if you will but allow him. Do not doubt the Master who is calling you through me for the last time, Spinosa. Through me.
There was a time when you understood that God was infinite. Now you perceive him to be the all-seeing, all-knowing creator who determines each and every action in this world. You dream of the devil who deceives and ensnares us against God's will. And believing this nonsense as you do, you have the effrontery to bewail me. My philosophy, which you never beheld, you style a chimera. You poor wretch. Who has bewitched you into believing that the supreme and eternal is eaten by you and held in your intestines?
How do you know that your philosophy is the best among all that has ever been taught in the world, or is being taught, or ever will be taught?
I could ask you the same question. How do you know that the wafer which you chew in the Romish church is anything other than what it is, a wafer? I know what I know. I understand the true philosophy. I know it as you know that 3 angles of a triangle are equal to 2 right angles. That this is sufficient will be denied by no one whose brain is sound and who does not go on dreaming of devils and evil spirits inspiring us with false ideas. Think again, you fool. You've been led to become a devotee of this church of yours, not through your love of God, but because of your fear of hell. The single greatest cause of so much superstition in this world. Is this your humility? That you entrust nothing to yourself, but leave all responsibilities to others? Your papal tradition is false through and through. Reflect on the history of your church. Study with what cunning your Pope has obtained supremacy over the church. Oh, enough of this.
Albert Bird is finished for me.